On the Democratic side of things, this race was called very early as well. NBC projecting President Joe Biden has won the New Hampshire primary, beating out the likes of Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. They were on the ballot. President Biden not on the ballot, but the write-in campaign was successful. It was the end of a very strange primary season for Democrats here in the Granite State, again, because Biden wasn't on the ballot.
Because the DNC decided New Hampshire would no longer be the first primary for their party. So we want to go to Eli Rosenberg, who's been there all night. And Eli, listening to you tonight, it does sound like also there was a lot of youth that was part of this write-in momentum, talking about QR codes to help people figure out how to vote. What are you hearing?
Definitely an unusual campaign process and an unusual watch party because we did not have a candidate here, but organizers say this was a success. The banners are down, the stage taken apart, but a lot of happy faces and smiling people here after months and months of work to educate and create this awareness of what they were trying to do in terms of getting voters to go in and actually write Joe Biden's name on the ballot and circle that little oval so it would count. President Biden tonight is at the White House, but these organizers say this whole goal was to make sure that while he may be gone, he was definitely not forgotten.
Tonight, Joe Biden has won the New Hampshire primary with almost 2 times the Democratic turnout as 2012.
Tonight after President Biden, the projected Democratic nominee in New Hampshire, the fact he isn't here based on a decision made more than a year ago to make South Carolina the very first national primary next month, bypassing, of course, New Hampshire. Not so fast, New Hampshire said, holding its primary today. Anyway, without Biden on the ballot. So that led to this campaign to get him in as a write-in ballot.
So we had historic voter turnout in the Democratic primary today. We had almost twice as many voters today than the 2012 primary here, which just goes to show that New Hampshire overwhelmingly supports Joe Biden. And I'd like to say that there's a lot of young support for Joe Biden as well.
Shows you some of the enthusiasm in the room talking to people who organized this campaign to get him in as a write-in candidate. They say they're going to celebrate tonight, enjoy this, but then the work continues tomorrow morning. No, there's a lot to do between now and November. Live in Manchester, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Eli, thank you very much. So if President Biden wasn't here in New Hampshire, well, where was he? He was in Virginia at a campaign rally. It was to show support for abortion rights. This week marks the 51st anniversary of Roe versus Wade. In that speech, the president blamed former President Donald Trump for the end of the abortion protections that were part of that landmark Supreme Court ruling.
Today is a day to call to action. With your voice, with your power, with your vote, we can restore the protections that have been around for over 50 years under Roe v. Wade.
Now, at this event, as you see here, Biden was interrupted several times by mostly pro-Palestinian protesters. Their shouting ultimately drowned out by Biden supporters chanting 4 more years.